Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Little Nishmasi Mimi Rossi was Bas Mordechai. Mordik. Akiva Goldberger sends this message. I was very touched yesterday when a young man showed up at my door delivering sushi from a store called That Sushi Spot. I noticed he was listening to a voice that sounded familiar. Inquire what are you listening to? He replied, Stefansky Daf. I was blown away that a man that is delivering sushi on a Motzi Shabbos simultaneously is learning Hashem's Torah through Rav Eli, a Baal Shem Tov moment. Hashtag Rav Eli. Dear Rav Eli, been with the Daf since your meaningful people appearance. You suggested last night to take out the line thanking your wife because she doesn't listen to the shir and she doesn't care. However, it's just the opposite. The reason Kidnovations has the blurb about your wife selflessly giving up her husband is meant to remind you every time you read it. Wow. Naftali Wolfish, marriage and family therapist. Rabbi said one of those tear-jerker emails, one of those, we're on a roll here. This is an unbelievable email. The subject is, I think there's a mistake in the subject. I'm not sure. I had a shaila. There's a little stira here. Because in the subject it says 100, yet in the email it says 365. So I don't know exactly. But this...
responded to his first...
it's 100 from his first email.
No. He sent that first email on 100. And now it's the new milestone. And instead of sending...
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Got it. Regarding Apikoros nearing 100 days of the daf. So that's an email that he sent in the past when he was in Apikoros and he was nearing 100 days of the daf. He sent an email. Dear Rav Eli, I hope this message finds you well. I first reached out some months ago to share how your shirim had rekindled my connection to Torah. And I'm writing now as I near my first full year of learning Daf Yomi. Full year. It's a personal milestone, one that has impacted my life in ways both expected and unexpected. Much of what you speak about is the transformative power of Daf Yomi, and I'm seeing that in small, meaningful ways in my own life. I may still fall short in many areas. I struggle with observing Shabbos fully, kashrus, and a few other things that keep me tethered to secular habits. Oh, that's the key word, habits. I just realized, habits. The Daf Yomi is all about habits, good habits, replacing secular habits with good habits. But reintroducing Torah through the Daf has nonetheless been transformative. One visible change is that I have installed mezuzahs on every doorway in my home, beyond the front door alone, as a way of bringing the sacred into my life, daily surroundings. I've also started wearing tzitzis more often, sometimes even publicly. They are small steps, yet each one has deepened my sense of connection. Your shir has also reconnected me with an old childhood friend, Rabbi Dov Ber Muchnik, whom I grew up with. My father's dental practice was in Michal Muchnik's basement in Carroll Street in Crown Heights. I reached out to Dov Ber after your mention of him in the Chabad in Oxnard. Our reconnection has brought back memories of when I stayed with his family one Shabbos and somehow found myself under the Rebbe's talus during Amidah. That memory has become stronger now that I've started davening at home again. The reconnection with Rabbi Muchnik has also enabled me to extend support to another child friend who's facing homelessness through his Chabad. My high school friends have sought to assist her in small ways, even as her situation remains challenging. This opportunity to contribute to the wider Jewish community, spurred by Yeshua introductions, including the emails, has shown me how Torah and community intersect to create meaning. I've also recently begun learning Shnai Mikra Echad Targum, starting with Parashas Noach and catching up through Bereshis. Futurely, this, I don't know what that means. This Shabbos is Lecha, my Bar Mitzvah Parasha, as it's surprising to find I could still recall the trop. A reminder, that's the word, yeah, I said yesterday, because somebody put this email into AI and it came out the trumpets. Trup is the trumpet, something like that. A reminder of Torah's lasting place in my life despite having abandoned it for so long. Lastly, I've added, listen to this. Lastly, I've added my Hebrew name, Avi, to my email signature at work. It's a name I haven't used publicly since childhood, but it feels like reclaiming a part of myself. It's a small but personal step, one that adds meaning to this journey. As I reconnect with Torah, I'm also reminded of my work with the Jewish Architectural Heritage Foundation, a nonprofit I founded to educate others about anti-Semitism and the Holocaust through persevering Jewish architectural history. Each of your shiurim reinforces the importance of safeguarding these narratives for future generations. Thank you, Rav Eli, for inspiring and for helping Torah find this way back into my life. May Hashem bless you with the continued strength to lead and guide all of us on this journey. Kol Tov, Adam, Avi, Wapniak, originally from Brooklyn, New York, and now Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Yeah. It's emotional. P.S. I included you in my tefillas. I am Kippur. All right. Unbelievable. And we had the one yesterday also. 2 days ago from David Arnold. What? This one is, perfect timing. Because today is 5 years where I haven't missed a single day delivering this year. 5 years. I know I spoke about it a few days ago, 25 days ago, that it's 1800. Dear Rav Eli, Mazel Tov on your 5-year straight streak, super inspired by your constant commitment every single morning with enthusiasm, frischkeit, slopes, hotels, safaris, and more. My son Benji. What? What, the person that said, the psychologist? The marriage counselor?
No, the sponsor.
Well, what?
The guy who sponsors.
Oh, had nothing to do with what that guy said. Is that person talking to my wife? I got it. Okay. But it's still a good point. His point is good that every time I say my wife's name, the guy that sponsored said, no, he wasn't trying to. Okay, fine. I'll still say it. Because the guy has a point. My son Benji left his MDY tablet on Thursday night, and somehow at 5:15, you hear Benji at 5:15 in the morning, suddenly turned on and woke him up, so he decided to do the daf at 5:15 in the morning. Wish you could think of that hatzlacha, the next milestone. P.S. Today is also 2 years since you first came to Manchester. Shimi Leafman, inspired since Sukkah. And finally spotted in the United Kingdom, MDY legend Dov Harris at my brother's wedding on Thursday night. See attached. Regards, Ashi Lebret, your Talmudson Sukkah. The one and only Dov Harris. Was noch? Okay. Is your name Avrumi Weisberg? Yeah? Shalom Aleichem Avrumi. How do I know your name? You didn't tell it to me before, but here's the email about you. Somebody wrote an email. It's not me giving you bizyonis. The bizyonis are coming in from other places. Rabbi Isai, if you are... What? What?
It's not me getting
Rabbi Isai, if you know Avrumi Weisberg from Lakewood, text him non-stop today. Make him a sugar. Tell him you saw him on the shir. You're from Lakewood? Thank you for your unbelievable addictive shiurim. Monday the 4th, my recruiter, Avrumi Weisberg from Lakewood, will be attending the shir live. Please give him a big shout out as he recruited me to the shir. You see, your son, you never know, you might have grandchildren already from him. Who knows? I've been learning in Koil for the past 4 years. Last year I went out working, I had a chavrusa learning at 5:45, but then came Sundays, Shabbos, Yontif, vacations, or the days that I didn't make it. Yishkoyach, that's what I tell everybody. Those chavrusas, they're great for 2 or 3 days a week. But what do you do about the rest of the week? I didn't learn anything, he says. Then came my good friend Avrumi, introduced me to this amazing shir. Since then I learned with my chavrusa, the daf, and then relearn it with Rav Eli. No more days with no learning for me. I always watch the shir even when I can't make it to my chavrusa. By the way, I'm from those that never learned Motzei Yom Kippur, but this year I did. Unbelievable. Rabbi Isai, he doesn't want to say his name. You probably know who he is, right? He says don't say his name. You said it. Good. Now you give him bizyonis. Shalom Aleichem. How you doing? Who else is a guest? We have another one here? No. That's from Levat Torah. I don't see any guests today. Wow. Shvach on the guests. Good. We're missing some guys. They went to America. Beseder. What else? So we're going to start this year, but 2 unbelievable things. Yesterday, 2 people donated $10,000 to the Shabbaton. $10,000. Not Kidnovations. This is in honor of Kidnovations, and he doesn't want Kidnovations to know who he is. Maisa Chaya. 4 Kidnovations. He is super, super secretive about who he is. So Kidnovations is the one that's, I say in the thing. And Eli Doppelt, the famous Eli Doppelt, you guys remember him from all his funny emails? He came out with he also donated $10,000. So yishkoyach to you too. It's going well. And Be'ez Hashem, very soon, you're going to hear about the registration opening for the Olam. The Masech responsible for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages, Parnassa Chodesh. Linishmas Zechariah ben Moshe, Linishmas Chaya bas Yosef, Parnassa Chodesh. Health and strength for Rav Eli, Parnassa Chodesh, Lakewood family, Lakewood, New Jersey, because Torah is the best Segula. Parnassa Chodesh, Yosef Chaya, Sara for Parnassa B'revach. Parnassa Chodesh, here we go. Kidnovations LLC in honor of my uncle, Elchanan Pressman and Fishel, should be zechus for Akiva Simcha Ben Fayga, shidduch for Rivka Yehudit, Chaya, and a thank you to Rebbitzen Stefansky for selflessly giving up her husband for the klal. It should be a zechus for a year filled with Mazel, Bracha, hatzlacha, Parnassa B'revach and Refuah. Parnassa Shavua, Refuah Shleimer for Tinuk ben Alta Nechama, B'seich Kol Shar Chayli Yisrael from his family. Parnassa Yomi Tzvi Spira in honor of my Daf anniversary. Thank you so much for changing my home life. Thank you. Keep on going, Tzvi. Hatzlacha, Parnassa Yomi, hatzlacha, Parnassa, Refuah Shleima, L'chol Chayli Am Yisrael. Amen. Parnassa Yomi for the success in Shmir Sinayim and Gedusha from Michael and David Kupper. Parnassa Yomi in honor of my dear friend, workmate Avrumi Weisberg, my recruiter to your shir. Wow, what a nice guy. No, that takes to sit down, write an email, then go into the website, put in a sponsorship. Has a car type to you. Kol hakavod. Parnassa Yomi, anonymous from Lakewood, as a zechus for the boys to have a great winter's man, yishkoyach Reb anonymous. Parnassa Chodesh of the art. For zechus, for Rav Eli and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many. Rabbi Yisai, here we go. We had there's a Maisa Shahaya. Let's see if anybody knows the answer to this. How many people know the answer to this? I had a Givaldic idea. If you guys want to add to this idea, I thought we should buy like a little plastic device that has 4 buttons on something, and I could ask a question, put it on the screen, and everybody has a choice. Everybody could like click the thing. It's not my invention. Right, but instead of doing it on your phone, because it takes time to open up the phone, it'll just be available right there on the table when you come in, for those who are here, and anybody else that's watching could do kuhu. But it can be interactive, and we could see 30% answered the right answer, 30%, this. Anytime it's machlokes, we'll just write Hillel, like one of these things. And fine. I just thought of making it something more interactive. They said it's about $2,000. It's kedai maybe to make it gamified this year a little bit for 1 minute. It's not for fun. Anyway, here's a question, because a lot of times I ask questions. I was in a shir. I'm looking at some people, like including your son, and I like ask, did their shver, anybody like buy them an apartment? Nobody raises their hand. Like this, I could have had it on this, and I know, hey, I'm pretty sure you guys bought an apartment together. No, I don't know. It's a secret, but he didn't raise his hand. It was like this. Anyway, question: a Maisa Shaya, a woman comes to Rebbe Kiva with a star that says in the star, the story was that they made a deal, the husband and the wife. Whoever dies first, the other one gets everything. And she produces a star that her husband said, if he dies first, she will get all the nechasim, even though they have children. What's the halacha? No, what's the halacha? Rabbi say, if you're a rav, how do you paskin? Does she get everything? It says in the star, she gets everything. Huh? What? Doesn't say Yerusha. Didn't say what? What?
It's not a gift. She's dead.
It says if he dies, she gets everything. If he dies first, she gets everything. As a gift. Doesn't say Yerusha. Doesn't say Lashon Yerusha. Gift. No, what do you say? What do you say? Anybody? Huh? So, no, I just find it's interesting. I find with myself, a lot of times I learn a Gemara, and then it's hard to make that jump, for me at least, from something you learn to like a practical thing. So that was a sugi we learned yesterday. That what?
It doesn't count. You don't leave it just for the wife.
Right. Our guest from Lakewood says she becomes an apitropos. If a husband gives everything to his wife, she becomes an apitropos. Oh, that's the word I was looking for. We learned it. It's like, yeah, okay, give everything to the wife. But somebody comes to you and says, hey, I gave everything to the wife. Now what? That's what we learned. So Rebbe Kiva try to go like this. Like he says, there's a concept called, if you have 3 sveikas, you could annul something. He brought 3 Rishonim that say that perhaps in this case, she should get everything. The Rosh says only when in this case, the whole Gemara applies only like that, the Gemara like that. Maybe, and then at the end of the day, he said, no, she's an apitropos. Wow. You know, a Maisa Chaya comes with a get only 250 years ago, wherever long the Rebbitzen lived. Here's the story. A guy says, I want my wife to have everything. No, he meant apitropos. Okay.
You should leave $10 for each kid, and then she'll have it.
Listen, if you want to do it the right way, so you say, you are not apitropos, I'm giving you matana, I'm not going with any of this. It's only when it's vague, when it's vague. Zog the Gemara. Top words. We're starting top. Mamish. Unbelievable. I'm going to miss Bava Basra like you can't even imagine, because as a Magachir, the dapim are so short, and it's easier for me. It's easier to prepare. I have to admit, and I don't know. I think I'm going to miss it. It's just a lot of Rashbam, and I don't really go through all the Rashbam sometimes, but long. Right, it's gonna. I'm dreading it. It's unbelievable. Some of these days, it's like perfect timing with Yom Kippur and whatever it was. It's like this, Okay, anyway, there's still today, right now, when Yeshnoichlim a little bit harder than the rest of Bava Basra. Today happens to be an easy daf and a gishmaka daf. Boy, Rava. This is not the first time that Rava asks this question. It's not going to be the last. This is the theme of these dapim. This case that a husband gives his wife 100% of everything, his entire rechush, and it goes, we say the wife is an apitropos. Why? Because the svara is he wants the wife to be respected by his children. But what if he's 100% healthy? When he's dying, he wants to make sure that after he dies, they listen to her. But if he's alive, he's around, he makes sure everything's in order. He wants to make sure that they start listening to her right now. He gives her the money. When she's in charge of the money of the allowance, all of a sudden everybody starts behaving. They respect. To me, it was funny when I was reading this. I don't know about you, but a lot of times I used to come home when the kids were younger. My wife would tell me, "I don't understand. How come when you come home, everybody starts behaving? When I'm here, I'm struggling. They're not listening to me." And then, like when she flies to America and I'm stuck with her, she comes back. She goes, "So who made them dinner?" Like, they made themselves dinner. Really? No, they know how to make. Yeah, they know. They do their own laundry. They woke themselves up for cheder, for this. No, nothing. Everything runs. You're looking at me like I'm. That never happened to you, Avi. Were you ever by yourself with the kids? He's thinking. It's the reverse. No, but sometimes, be'emes, they know how to get along by themselves. Like, it was the opposite. There was less fighting when I was, because they. They know how to put the pizza in the toaster oven all by themselves. It's a pella plime. I'm serious. I mean, the dinners are not that. It's calling the pizza shop and eating it hot. And when in Chas Shalom it's cold, they put it in the toaster. But when my wife is home, they don't know how to turn the toaster. Mommy, they don't. Mommy, I don't know. How do you do it? I can't take it out. It's hot. They know how to take it out. Say there. So he says, Bibari, look, it says it. Hakayu, he's there. He makes sure that they mechaber her. There's no chutzpah when she's there. Somebody in this room who's here today came over to me after the share yesterday. He said, second marriage, his kids are not mechaber his new wife. And he pulled out, he showed them that they have a chiyuv d'oraisa to be mechaber, which is true. Not everybody knows it, maybe. So says the Gemara, should I say it? It's kind of late. Yeah? Did you fall off your scooter? Stand up a second. Show everybody. I just noticed this. Wow. What happened? He has a scooter, and he might not be riding it anymore. Or you're gonna keep it? Not now, but in the future.
That's a good deal.
Before Shlema. Thank you. Like I said, I told my son, he has 3 motorcycles. I said, I don't know a single person that owns a motorcycle, not one person that owns it that hasn't fallen off. It's not if, it's when. Every single person I know. That's why I know how to ride a motorcycle. I used to ride a motorcycle. Never. Okay. You have to know your risk. There's a risk reward. It's very, very few people that I know that own scooters that don't fall off scooters. Very few. Anyway, it's a gewaldige way to get around here in Israel, and it's inexpensive and everything, but it's wow. Okay, Refuah Shleima. I brought you here to give, to tell the Olam. That's not the greatest idea. Anyway, fine. Oh, so you want to hear the story? There's a hypochondriac that went to the doctor every single day. Sick. And one day, the hypochondriac didn't come. So the doctor said, what happened? He says, I was sick. I couldn't come. Okay. So Chaya, I went to my Shver's office. I used to love hanging out there, going into surgeries with him, when I first got married. So he says, listen, do me a favor. There's a woman, she was a religious woman that went through the war and everything. He says, she's in room whatever. I don't have koach for her. She comes here every single day. She tells me that her ear, every day, hypochondriac, mamish. So I put on the robe, the whole doctor thing. I walked in there and I schmoozed with her. I told her she has to take medication. She has to have surgery. She's nervous and everything was good. My father loved it. He's in heaven after. Yeah. Zog the Gemara Tashma. No, she was healed. After that shul, she was healed for a while.
It was the first miracle.
Tashma. So what's the question, Rabbi say? If a person is healthy and gives all his belongings to his wife, is she apitropos or not? Is it a gift or not? Tashma koisav peir is nechasav 5 lines down. If somebody tells his wife, so we're going to have a few of these halachas today. Is a wife moichel when a husband gets married? He's mechuyev to give her a ksuba. Here, a ksuba is backed up with his property. So if they get divorced, if he doesn't have money, she can go after his property. So the question is, what if a husband gives her some of this property as a gift? What if he gives her the fruits of the property, all the income of the property? Does that make her be moichel the shibud? That's all we're talking about. The mechila of the shibud, like letting go and saying, you know what? If you sell the property, if you don't have whatever, then you won't owe me because you gave me something while we were married. Maybe I'm moichel the shibud. Hakaisav peiris the chazav leishtoi. Goivek subas minakarka. It doesn't work. There's no mechila here just because you gave her the right to have some fruit in between. What if he gave her lemechza? He gave her half of the property, l'shlish, a third, revia, a quarter. No. Just because you gave part of it, goivek subasa, there's no mechila on the shibud, on the lien. The lien doesn't go away by giving her something small during the marriage. Goivek subasa min ashar. So let's say he gave her half, she still gets another half. Kasav kol nechasav leishtoi, v'yatzal of shtar chayv. So we have a beautiful chart here. So this means a property with a lien on it, right? It has a chain on it. Take a look. A person got married to his wife. Under the chuppah, there's what happened to the chuppah here? Under the chuppah, he's mechuyev in a ksuba. And the ksuba is attached to property. That's the first thing that happened. Step 1 is that property became meshubad to the wife. Step 2 is that the husband went and took out a loan. So he take out a loan, the property that he owns has a lien to the malva. So now the malva has a lien on the property. Step 3 is that the husband decided to give his wife a gift, the same property. First, the property was a shibud to her for the ksuba. Then it became a shibud for the halva. Then it became a matana. But between the loan and the gift, the loan was first. So the loan has more power than the gift. And now there's a big question here. When she gets the gift, the entire field is a gift. Does it remove the Number one, the shibud of the ksuba, or so let's see what happens here. Chasav kol nechasav leishtoi. He said, I'm going to give you everything. But then the malva from step 2 shows up and says, pay up. You have to rip up the gift. Let's see if that works now. Yeah. Okay. You see, the gift is ripped. And memela what? She has to give the field to the malva because the halva happened. Step 2 happened before step 3. So it goes to the malva. But what about the fact that step 1 was before step 2? So Rebbe says, in fact, that's true. She still has a shibud for the ksuba. Because that was before the halva. What happens is, you're right. First of all, you rip up the... Here, let's do this. Here, you rip up the ksuba. But, Rabbi say, not to be confused, when you rip up a ksuba, does she get paid? She gets paid afterwards? Yes. Because all we're ripping up is the shibud to the ksuba, the lien to the ksuba. It doesn't mean that he's not obligated to pay her. So okay, so we rip up that shibud, and we rip up the matana, so she gets 0. She doesn't have a lien anymore. She's bald from here and here. Rabbi say, check this out, it's gewaldig. Look at that smile face. So half her smile went down. Now the matana gets ruined also. That was the ksuba, now the matana is gone. And now it's kirachas mekan mekan. That's nintzas kirachas mekan mekan. V'omar Rabbi Yehuda Anachtem. Says Rabbi Yehuda Anachtem. So who's Rabbi Yehuda Anachtem? So first of all, some people say that Rabbi Yehuda Anachtem means a baker. He had a bakery. He used to make nice bread. Nirshal means brought that Rabbi Yehuda Anachtem might have been one of the Asarei Harugi Amalchus. And that Elisha ben Avua went off the derech because he saw not Chutzpitz HaMeturgeman's tongue, but rather Yehuda. What did I say? Something else. Chutzpitz HaMeturgeman. He saw Rabbi Yehuda Nachtem's tongue being dragged away by a dog. And then he said, Zui Torah v'Zui Schar, and he went off the derech. Shiloh, who this Rabbi Yehuda Nachtem, not a very popular name in Shas. Sikta the Zutras and Sher Shirim says that Hanachtai means, it means bread, but it means that his Torah was so beautiful, so geschmack, like lechem chamudos. So like a nice fresh bread that comes out of, not that he had a bakery, but his Torah is like bread. So what does he say? My sister's daughter who married my son. In other words, first cousins married each other. It was very common then. It's still common in certain circles. My sister's daughter is my kala, is my daughter-in-law. And my son pulled this thing with her. He said, here, take all my nechasim. You get 100% of the nechasim. And rip up the ksuba, v'tamid al matanasa, and we make it a matana, but the chayv comes, the halva comes before the matana, v'nitzis kirachas mekan mekan. Okay, givaldik, so no gift. So here's the point. Here's the whole point of the question was, we're trying to bring proof. If a person is healthy and he gives all his belongings to his wife, is she an apotropos or is it a gift? So says the Gemara, time of the Yotza by the white line. Time of the Yotza of Shtar Chayv, Haliyotza of Shtar Chayv. It's only because there was a loan, so she had to give the field to the lender. Haliyotza of Shtar Chayv, Kanya. She would receive the field as a gift. Now what's the case? If the guy is on his last breath, Now we're already passing like Shmuel that if a person is dying and he gives everything to his wife, that's an apitropos. So you see that when a person is healthy and he gives his belongings to his wife, it counts. It's a good gift. She's not an apitropos like you guys said. So Gemara no. It's talking about that he's dying. So just the lashon is a little interesting, but if you remember from yesterday, we had 5 questions. What happens in all these 5 cases? Does the husband give it to her as a gift? It's sarusa, it's grusha, etc. So the Gemara says, no, we're talking about a guy that's dying and he's giving it to his arusa. That's the case. He's not giving it to his wife. You thought that we're talking about a case that a person is giving something to his wife. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a person giving to his arusa or to his divorcee. Somebody came over to me after the Hebrew shir and said he knows of a person who just now, mamish, in the last few weeks, gave his ex an apartment. Give his ex an apartment. So I said, yeah, but it's still not a story that he gave her everything. So, okay. But it's a lot. I don't know how many apartments this guy has. So, Memela, I have no raya. Everything, we're trying to prove a case of a guy giving something to his wife and that it works. This is not a case of a guy giving something to his wife. This is a guy giving something to his ex-wife. Ravina mukila beishta arusa bishta grusha. So Ravina says it specifically. Look, the 2 top arrows, the green ones, arusa and grusha. It's the exact same thing what Ravira says. It's just in different wording. Omer Rabbi Yosef Bar Rav Nachman. This is just repeating what we just said before. The halacha is that we rip up her ksuba, she loses her shiva and ksuba, and it becomes a gift. But since it's a gift, she has to give it to the lender. She's bought from both sides. Remember, the Gemara says there's something called using common sense, using logic. Remember the Rav Nachman uses logic and common sense. How come over here he doesn't? What's the case? Think about it. A person gives all his belongings to his best friend because he believes that his son died in the war. They told him he's dead. So he went and he gave everything. Then all of a sudden, Shalom Aleichem, his son shows up. Does the son get it back or not? So Rav Nachman says, logic says he gets it back. Logic, let's use logic. Not halacha to the T, but common sense. He would have never given it to his friend if he knew that his son was alive. So over here also, let's use logic. Why would a wife give up her ksuba just because her husband gave her a gift to begin with? She needs more. She needs her ksuba. His son left. They told him his son died. And he gave all his belongings to somebody else. And his son shows up. Tanakama says it's a good gift. That's what Allah says. It's not a gift. If he would have known, he wouldn't have written it. And the last psak is what I believe in. It goes by common sense. Says the Gemara, the reason why we don't use common sense by us, we do use common sense. But the common sense is different. Over here, the woman is a moichel the shibid. Why? Because she is happy with the fact that her husband gave her a gift. People are going to say in the street, wow, you heard about my husband? He's such a nice guy. He gave me, he's machshav me. He gave me the property. Today might be a little different. Today the husband might say, wow, my wife is machshav me. She gave me a property. I don't think the women care so much. Husband machshav them, not machshav. Oh, you heard? Fine.
It's on the wife's name anyway.
Exactly. Givaldic. It's on the wife's name anyway, he said. Okay? But in those days, a woman took a lot of pleasure in the fact that her husband thought about her and gave her a gift. Wow, unbelievable. Reb Gershon Edelstein says, you see from over here, what do you mean she takes pleasure? But it's much better for her not to get the gift and then she'll get a full ksuba. No. A woman prefers the attention and the consideration. What's the word I'm looking for? The respect. Or that's the wrong word.
Affection and affection.
The affection, maybe. That's a little bit too stark. Okay, I don't think Rabbi Gershon Edelstein said that word. The chavivos, to show that I care. Okay, the affection, says Ashi. More than the gift itself. More than the flowers. It's the thought behind the flowers. Not boom, take the flowers. Yeah? I think I said this Maisa. Somebody you all know very well maybe found flowers in the garbage. They looked pretty decent to him. So he gave them to his wife. She burst out crying. She said, I saw those flowers by my friend and they threw them out in the garbage. The kids are like, it was the opposite. It's not what you give, it's how you go about it. Okay?
That's where the gift comes from.
It was beautiful flowers. I mean, they were slightly withered, but that's about it. They were beautiful. What do you mean? Okay? It's the thought that counts, and over here there's no thought. It was take from the garbage and give. That's not a thought. Not awesome. Who said, Remeir Chodesh told like one of the Mashgichim, he said, the Mashgich said, why should I get my wife flowers? We don't fight. He said, no, it's the thought. He says, flowers, because you're a man and you don't really care about flowers, it's a pure lishma. If you got her anything else, you got her a camera, you're going to be using the camera. I don't know what, something else. Yeah, you buy her a cake, you're going to be eating it. Flowers is 100% lishma. It's for you because I love you. That's what he told him. Okay, interesting. What?
Always used to say that flowers because it's a growing connection.
It's a growing connection. Reb Shimshon Pinkus said?
Always said.
Why is it a growing connection?
Because flowers are something which grows.
Actually, a dying connection.
It's a dying connection. Most people die. Unless you buy that pretty one that you have to know how to water it 1 drop per every 2 days, orchids. And then we don't know how to do it, so that was also a dying proposition. Fine. Which reminds me, I have to buy my wife flowers one day. I used to buy my wife flowers every Erev Shabbos before I gave shir. Now that I have to work on Friday, I have an excuse, but okay, not a good excuse. So that also.
I do it every week.
Very good, Ashi. Once you give shir, Ashi, Beis Hashem, you won't be able to do it. I give you a bracha. Not also, because of the karka kolshu. Here. This is a brand new sugya, so if you're spacing out, you have no idea what was flying. Brand new, seriously. Person writes everything to his sons here, but his wife gets 1 foot by 1 foot of a karka, a tiny little piece of karka. Ibda ksubasa, she doesn't get any ksuba. Again, we're not talking about the actual 200 in the ksuba, we're talking about the shibud of the ksuba. Mission because of the karka kolshu ibda ksubasa, asked the Gemara, what? Because he gave her 1 foot of karka, that's that. So we have a number of answers here. Let's see. Here it goes. Rav says, he did give her 1 foot of karka, but she used her tichel. He made her take off her tichel or something. Her handkerchief, she went like this. So what? Oh, she was involved. She didn't care. She didn't say anything. She didn't make a macha. She's okay with it that he gave everything to the sons. So she misses out. She lost her shibud. Here it is. Look at this. What's on her mouth? She's quiet. She's quiet. Again, she got a little piece of property and she was quiet. That means she is masculine. I heard a vart, this in Parshas Noach. Rashi says that the pigeon, the flew, the dove, was a male. How does he know? He says it's very pashut. Because if you say that you got the olive branch from Eretz Yisrael, where was Noach? In Turkey. So that means the pigeon had to close his mouth from the whole flight from Eretz Yisrael to Turkey. That only a zachar could do. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Chanina Amar, Boimer lo tli karka zu b'ksubasik. So, Rabbi Yossi says, listen, when you say this foot is your ksuba, that's it. You took it, you accepted it. So that shows that you don't care about the shibud of the ksuba. Daf Amud Beis. We know that ksubas have a few kulas. For instance, you could give a woman ziburis. You can't give a balchayv ziburis. You have to give him beininus. Why? Tav lemesav tandu, lemesav armelu. Yosef mashe ish roitzeli ish roitzeli nase. A woman wants to get married more than a man, so she's asking him to get married and get a weaker ksuba. Sponsors. So today we do it. Today we're fancy. Turning the daf, Cheshvan, Berkovici family. I hope I said it. Berkovici family. The zechus klal Yisrael. And Glenn Esterson, dedicated to Gilad Jacob Israel. Thank you for bringing the daf into my life. Baruch Hashem. See another person that has a kars hatoiv. You go out there, boy, say you get another guy to join the daf. They'll have a kars hatoiv to you for the rest of their life. Change their life. Nan Rabbi Yossi Omer im kibla halel afal pishaloi kosavla ibduk subasa. So where are we? Oh, this is the call. I forgot to show you the call thing. Here, call. Mr. Brown receives property as gift. That's the call. That's what she's okay. Fine. Ooh. Have to be over here. I didn't show this. This is Geshmak. I don't know what this is. I've never seen this myself. They're married. Oh, there's 3 sons. And he gives them property. And he gives her a tiny piece. Something happened there. Okay, great.
The Shiva came off.
The who?
The Shiva came off.
That's what happened? Property. Oh, the Shiva came off. Very nice. Avi. Shmak. Okay. So now we go back over here. Not over here. We have to go over here. We're holding by Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi says either she's masking with her verbally. She says, I agree. Im kibla aleh. She says, I agree to be moichel my shibud. Afal pishalei kosavla, even though you didn't write it mefurish, ibduk subasa. So Rabbi Yossi is the one that says you either do it in writing or she accepts it verbally. But if Rabbi Yossi says this, obviously, in the same Mishnah, the beginning of the Mishnah, not Rabbi Yossi, I mean, Kibla Aleh. What's the beginning of the Mishnah? The beginning of the Mishnah must argue on Rabbi Yossi. He's coming to argue on somebody. So obviously, there's a shita that says that you need both, Ksiva and Kabbalah. And that will be a very big kasha on the first 3 shitas that we have on the right. Rav, Shmuel, and Rabbi Yochanan ben. What is that? Rabbi Yosef Rechanina. Rabbi Yosef Rechanina. Rabbi Yosef Rechanina. Why? Because they're saying, oh, you just go with a handkerchief like this. Oh, I'm quiet. No, quiet is not enough. I have to be verbal and put it in writing. So there's not enough. Klik subas is not enough. I need a verbal approval. Yeah? Like on the plane. I don't know if you ever sat on an exit seat. They always go over to you. So in a case of emergency, there's verbal, sir, verbal. And if you don't speak English, I've seen with my own eyes, if you say it in Spanish, they pick you up and put you on another seat. You have to say verbally, yes, I agree. So I need a verbal. So says the Gemara, who told you that there's a machlokes between the Tanakh and Rabbi Yosef? Rabbi Yosef says you need one or the other, right? Either writing or verbal. And you're telling me you invented a Tanakh that says you need both. Maybe the whole Mishnah is Rabbi Yosef. And the first part of the Mishnah is talking about one halacha, and the second part of the Mishnah is talking about another halacha, but it's all Rabbi Yosef. The first part is talking about if she received the gift, she's moichel the shibud without saying anything. And the second part of the thing is what if she didn't receive a gift, but she said something. But how you Omer Rabbi Yehuda, when you receive a gift, how do you lose your shibud? She accepted upon herself. If she was there and she didn't accept verbally, she accepted verbally, but she wasn't there. Time out. This is Rabbi Yehuda. Oh, Rabbi Yehuda says you need both. And therefore, to the kulu. Check this out. You saw what just happened. After we have Rabbi Yehuda, we click here. Look what happens to them. They phase out. The first 3 don't really exist anymore. Why? Because we need a verbal confirmation plus in writing. Tiyufta. It's a bam kasha. Harav, Hoshmul, Harbi, you have all 3 shitas on the right. Mar my spherely. And what about you? What do you hold? Omalei. Shani Oimer. I hold like Rabbi Yosef. Either in writing or verbal. Kivin shasa shutav ben habarim ibdek subasa. Even if she was quiet, since he gave her a little bit of karka, she's moichel everything, the shibud. Why? Because for her, it's like a schos. He's mechabever, affection, whatever you want to call it. she's moichel the shibud. Izmar nami, Rav Yosef Rav Yumi, Rav Nachman, Kivishal so shuta ben abanim, ibda ksu basa. Same thing. By Rava. And now, once again, for the third time, Rav asks the same question. When a person gives everything to his sons, but he gives 1 foot of real estate to his wife, if he's 100% healthy, what's the halacha? Me, I'm reading when a person is dying, she knows that this is what he has. And when she agreed to it, she knows she's not going to get anything else, she's Michael. But if her husband is 100% healthy, what does a woman think? And this is normal. Okay, he gave everything to his sons, but he's a capable individual. The same way he received this real estate, he's going to build up and buy more real estate in the future. And that's going to be my ksuba. I'm not going to make a fuss today. I'm not going to make a fight with him today. But eventually, I'm going to have something to collect my ksuba. Why should I make a fight now? But I'm not moichel the shibud forever and ever. On this, I'm moichel, and tomorrow, not. But right now he doesn't have anything, and therefore there's the mechila teku. So what do you do when you have a teku? So the Rashbam Daf Amud Aleph, all the way in the bottom, he talks about it, and he says that she doesn't get anything because there's a teku. So when you have a teku, you have a suffix, and it goes to the muksuk, the person that's holding on to it, and it's not her. Simple case, says the Gemara. A person had property, and he had 2 daughters, no sons. So, even with the Raisa, the daughters inherit. So he says, very simple. I want 50% to go to this daughter, 50% to the other. But he's stuck in a little bit of a wrench. I want to give my wife 1/3 of the fruit. So, is she moichel the shibud with that fruit? Igla Rav Nachman Sura, so Rav Nachman goes to Sura, Ulgabe Rav Chizda, he went up to Rav Chizda, Amarlei, what's halacha? Amarlei, Shmuel. This is what Shmuel said. This is Mamish Mefurish Shmuel. The what? I feel like he can dekel echad lepereisa, ibda ksubasa. They give the kids 100 acres of property, but the wife just 1 palm tree for the dates on the palm. She loses the shibud on the ksuba. Amarlei, Eimur da Amar Shmuel asam dakle begufa da'ara. That's when you gave her. So he thought in the beginning that the fruit is attached to the trees. We're talking about a mechuber here. He says, no, that's when you give a real piece of real estate. So when you get real estate, you do a mechila. Why would a woman forgive her entire ksuba? Because he gave her a box of apples. I didn't realize it's metal. I thought it's on the tree. I didn't say that she's going to do a mechila, she's going to be moichel or shiva because she got some metal. If you get real estate, you're moichel. And finally, there's just 2-3 lines. Interesting question here. I'm giving a third. He had 2 daughters and a wife. I'm dividing everything equally, 33% to each. And one of his daughters died. So when he gave his wife 1/3, she was basically moichel, right? That's all I'm getting for the ksuba. Okay, that's all I'm getting. But then it was introduced a new piece of land. Another 33% of his property came back into the equation. Does she get to grab that 33%? One of the daughters died. Who inherits a daughter? The father. So on the one hand, her husband now has extra land to give her for the ksuba. But on the other hand, it's very tricky. On the other hand, she once upon a time said, this 33%, I'm not interested in. You can give it to the daughter if you want. Or no, it's brand new land that came into the equation. So Rabbi wanted to say that nothing. She doesn't get anything from that. Why? Because she mamish was moichel, that exact karka, she was once upon a time moichel. No way. If the husband went around and bought new real estate, so she would get from the new real estate. If that's the case, so this is also new real estate. Who cares that once upon a time she was moichel? He went and bought it again. Somehow it got back to him. So she gets to collect from that real estate. Hashanami shakla, Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day. Shkoyach for coming. Beautiful.